hand crank that hamster wheel. It's like the double dare thing, you know, when you got to do the wheel to get the hand to come down to drop the flag off. That just dated us.
Dated you. I don't think it was really.
I'd love some double dare.
Me too.
Mark Summers back in his prime.
If you weren't a kid and did not want to go on that show, you have no soul.
Howdy, folks. 3 Sheets to the Mouse is an adult-themed podcast that may contain content and language not suited for younger cowboys and cowgirls. Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, 'cause this here's the wildest podcast in the wilderness.
Fuck that little fish.
Now that is phenomenal.
I love shaking my booty.
I've never been to the Edison.
I know it sounds sorted, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my dues. And injustice deliciously squared, be free.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 122 of 3 Sheets to the Mouse. We're 4 average guys with love for all things Disney. I'm Scott, and joining me on tonight's show are 3 guys who were born modest, but fortunately wore off. Adam.
Still pretty modest.
Oh, you are way too modest to be too modest. Mikey.
I'll sign you, titty.
And Tim.
Let me tell you how great I am.
Please, we only have an hour and a half show.
Oh, well, it'll have to wait till we can do a quickie.
Okay, well, all right, we'll do a quickie next week about how great Tim is. But we're here tonight to talk to you about some Disney parks, Disney booze, and a little bit of debauchery in between. So sit back, relax, and grab some of America's finest bourbon and enjoy the adult side of Disney with 3 Sheets to the Mouse.
And which bourbon is that?
Well, first of all, bourbon only comes from America. Because if you try to make it in Canada and you call it bourbon mash, you get a little nice letter from the Food and Drug Administration saying, hey, guess what? You can't quite do that.
It's just Canadian whiskey.
Yes, that's true.
And it's not that great.
But tonight, I am... It's okay. I am going to drink some of our president's finest Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey. And that's Jefferson's. It's not his, actually, but
I thought you were talking about the current presidency. I didn't know Trump.
Right? I was going to say, I wasn't aware
I don't
of that.
think he's got a whiskey. If he does, not sure I'm not sure it would be that good, because New York whiskey has not done so well with me.
Well, I'm sure he owns some property in Kentucky and Tennessee.
I'm sure he does. I've only had 2 New York whiskeys. One isn't even really New York whiskey. It's Indiana and Tennessee and Kentucky. Fake being from New York. I'm looking at you, Widow Jane, but you are delicious.
I still like Widow Jane.
It's absolutely delicious. Shame what they do, but really delicious. So yeah, I am gonna drink some Jefferson's Kentucky, very small batch. It's a store pick. It's really good. Really good. I love all of Jefferson's expressions, especially the ocean. So, tonight, Mikey, what are you going to drink?
I, too, have a Kentucky bourbon.
Well, it's America.
But mine is bottom shelf.
Uh-oh.
This isn't, you know what, this is not top shelf. I mean, Jefferson's very small batch is kind of just their standard
It's
stuff.
mid-range.
It's mid-range.
It's like 40 or 50 bucks.
Yeah, I want to say this was maybe 40. It was not that expensive. And it's only 82 proof, so it's not super hot.
Well, I've got a 1 3/4 liter bottle that cost me $18.
Yeah, that's bottom shelf.
Okay.
There's that.
There's that.
That's the Miller Lite of bourbon.
You know what? Here's the deal, though. I've had at $24, $25 for a 750. Mm-hmm. I've had worse. And, I mean, at that price, I don't think I've had anything that's as decent as it is. It's McAfee's Benchmark Old No. 8 brand. It's not great.
Does it get the job done?
It's not super bad. Since it's hot down here, and I keep my whiskeys out here in the garage in the liquor cabinet, It is whatever the room temperature of the garage is, which is typically balls ass hot. So I throw an ice cube in there to chill it down, so I'm not drinking fucking hot water. And the ice cube also, the other side of that is it helps to mellow it out somewhat and hide a little bit of the heat to it. But it gets the job done. It's not bad, and it's great for mixing with sodas or just drinking because $18 and you want to get a little fucked up.
You know, Mikey, I do a whiskey podcast. Right? You know that?
There's a whiskey podcast?
There is.
Do you record it over by the People Mover?
No, but I'm sure that if I were to look for a whiskey that would be near the People Mover, that would be it. I've never heard of this whiskey.
I don't think you would. I don't think this is something. This would be one of the ones where I made my comment and probably be under like 20.
Yeah. Did you? So last episode on BSE, Adam asked, "Have you ever given a whiskey a failing grade?"
Well, no, because I did.
We did.
And then everybody like jumped at me.
The truth is, we haven't, because we haven't reviewed anything that would be a failing grade yet. Mikey, what would you give this on a one out of 100? Or, yeah, 1 out of 100. Like it was a grading scale.
Comparable to what you've drank so far.
Well, you got to remember, the Sheeters help fill the cabinet down here. So I'm putting this up against Blanton's Gold and Bowman and
Thank
Dowling.
you.
Well, that's fine. That's what you should do.
But that's what you should do.
What is your score?
Okay, here's what I'll put this up against.
No, it's just 1 to
No.
100.
Put it up
Easy.
against... What,
1 to 100?
Everything you've ever tasted so far.
Everything I've tasted so far. Just because it's better than something I have. I don't know. 63.
It's failing.
It's failing. It's a D minus.
It's a high, no. It's
that's
an F plus.
That's difficult because
An F plus.
if I want to be honest, I got to look at the expense versus the what you end up with.
Well, you have to take expense out of it because you can have a really good bottle that tastes like shit. We've had really good bottles that taste like shit.
yeah.
I've got an $80 bottle in the cabinet that I would rather, if I was drinking it neat, I would rather have this over that just because it's that one, that infusion. It's just too much shit going on. It's just too much shit going on.
We've had some cheap bottles that are amazing.
This is true.
I wouldn't call this amazing. I would say this sits right about there with like the Weller's.
What?
I like Weller's.
Weller's Green Label.
What?
What?
I like Green Label.
Dude.
So do I.
Green Label is in...
Well, I don't dislike it.
Green Label is the kind of...
So now
that's
he's
like a mid-80.
because he's grading like how I grade things. When you give me a scale of 1 to 100, a medium mid-range should be like 50 to 70.
But for me, the Weller is up there.
Yeah.
Weller is like high 80s, low 90s.
Weller's good. I would call Weller
Well,
like
it's like wine. Taste is subjective.
That's true.
So.
Weller for me is like an 83, 84. Weller Antique 107 is like a 91.
So do you compare like the regular Wellers? Compare that to like just your off the shelf at Applebee's Makers.
Oh,
Makers will get a failing grade.
Makers would get a failing grade. There you go.
Well, I find this better than Makers,
Well,
so
okay.
if that's worth
There you
anything.
Yep. All right.
And I've only had Makers one time at Neat, just because they couldn't figure out how to make an old fashioned at Applebee's, and I was just like, you know what, just give me that, just pour me that.
Most places
Like, the
will
bottle.
use Makers in an old fashioned.
Yeah.
Well, they were having to Google the recipe, and I was like, if you got to Google, just give me the.
If you need to Google an old fashioned, you need to go back to bartending school. That's one of the 6 classic cocktails.
Yeah, and he's like, well, no, I can look. I was like, you know what, no, just give me a double.
I cut my
of
bourbon
whiskey.
teeth on Makers, and I won't even touch the stuff anymore.
I'd give it a 46.
I see what you did there.
You see what you did there?
I see what you did there.
Oh, all right, Tim, what are you drinking tonight?
Punch. I got my old standby 212, otherwise known as a Manhattan.
Such a great drink. What's in it tonight?
Bullet Rye, Antica Vermouth, Stirring's Blood Orange bitters, and the new Filthy Black Cherries.
Oh, you've moved on.
I've moved on. Well, I haven't moved on. We bought these to put in the porthole, because that's what Disney uses in the porthole, but I ran out of Luxardos for my Manhattan, so I dropped a couple of these in there.
And Luxardos are... You need a second mortgage to get a jar of Luxardos.
Well, these aren't cheap either.
No?
They're probably $1 difference, maybe.
Oh. They're so good, though.
They are.
Adam, what do you got
Filthy
tonight?
black cherries up
I
there
got-
in taste, too.
Great Duck handcrafted vodka from Minnesota.
Oh, nice.
That's a take on Grey Goose?
I would assume.
Well, yeah. It was sent to us by some
Yes.
cheaters during Christmas.
Yes. And some tonic
At
water.
this point, I we don't remember who.
Guess we drink
Well,
too
the
much.
only cheaters we know are the Reagans in Minnesota, I think.
No, I want to say...
I don't know.
No, I don't think they were the Regans. I think
Isn't Brian Adams from Minnesota?
No, he's from Michigan.
It's from Michigan.
See,
Well, they're
exactly.
the
This
same,
is where I
aren't
get
It
confused.
might have-
So,
It might have been
might have been the Reagans.
the Enderlins.
Might have been too.
If you guys send us the Grey Duck,
I'm enjoying it a
vodka,
lot.
just-
I just haven't had a chance
drop
to
us in the line
open
and let
it.
us know. Sorry, we don't remember.
Because
We're going to have 15 people. I sent that. I
I
sent that.
drink more vodka and gin drinks in the summer because they find them more refreshing than like bourbons and like heavy sweet drinks. So I drink a lot of tonic water with various alcohols or just the straight alcohol chilled. So
Gin is really, really good in the summertime.
yes, gin and vodka.
I want to say it might have been who's Catherine Pass's parents? The Enderlins, aren't
Yeah.
they? Yeah, it was them because they sent us the cheese too, so it was Wisconsin. So
Okay.
I believe it was them.
If not, we screwed up
quote me.
and we can't
Yeah,
remember
we screwed
things.
up. It was 6 months ago.
And I drink.
And how is the vodka? What do you think of it?
It's good. It's very good. It's very light. There's not an overwhelming flavor or acid vodka burn to it, so it's really tasty. It really goes well in summer.
Now, what are you mixing it with?
Just tonic water.
Just tonic. Nice.
I gotta lose some weight.
Oh, he's going white girl.
No, it's not that I'm going white
No,
girl.
it's
It's
training
going
for
training for
dopey.
dopey. It's going. I drank
this
more
week.
water today than I drank in my whole entire life. I feel like, and I'm still behind on my water intake somehow.
First of all, I downloaded that app that Jen suggested, Plant Nanny thing.
Yes, that's what I've been doing.
12 glasses of water. Fuck.
Well, you have
Like
to
drowning here.
be careful because it depends on the size of the glass.
Well, it's 12 8-ounce glasses. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but how often do you drink just 8 ounces of water?
No, well, you don't. I mean, the cup that I have at work is like 13 ounces.
But that's what,
14
but if you
ounces.
program in 13 ounces, it balances out. But I actually have 2 full bottles of water that I still have to choke down somehow.
ridiculous.
But
I drink enough water. I'm borderline water toxicity. I drink so much water, and I don't need those.
I
water
do
nanny
because
apps.
I don't pay attention. And if
I-
I have something to follow, then
Yeah.
I'm better.
If it makes it fun, I'll follow
Yes.
it.
Which, as we're recording this, July 1st starts the 3 Sheets to the Finish Line challenge for this month, which is your water challenge and your abs challenge. So,
Which,
if you want to join in, look it up on 3 Sheets to the Finish Line. Jen just posted day 1. Well, by the time this drops, it'll be day
day 4. Day 4.
4. Yeah, day 4.
Sure. Be the 4th of
So
July.
hopefully
Day
you
4 is
all
a
had
rest day.
been... Yeah. 4th is a rest day.
Yeah, it is July 4th. And my birthday's a rest day, too, so
We don't have a challenge yet for my birthday, so
I'm hoping, Jen, if I know you're listening, so August, yoga, please. Let's go back to yoga.
no. Absolutely not. Because the yoga that just
Oh, yeah, by the time we get to August 20th,
I'd be
we'll
like
doing
trying to
pretzel
hang
pose.
upside down from the ceiling by my toenail.
Oh, I love that one.
Isn't it? That's the fun one. Nah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Ultimate Epcot. All of us at 3 Sheets to the Mouse are glad to have you with us as we go through land by land, pavilion by pavilion, and choose the greatest and best of all Epcot. And now, for the safety of those around you, we ask that you grab your drink, walk slowly to the person next to you, and toast them. Welcome to Ultimate Epcot. All right, well, look, if you can't tell, we've made a lot of nods to America in the opening of the show. Tonight, we're going to continue our Ultimate Epcot series as we go around World Showcase Pavilion, and we've reached the halfway point. The biggest of the pavilions, actually. At least size-wise.
Yeah, an area.
Biggest footprint.
Biggest footprint. Biggest building.
Yeah.
Even though it's forced perspective. We are at the American Pavilion. So we're going to continue our Ultimate Epcot as we pay tribute to the American Pavilion and everything inside. We'll discuss some of the entertainment, what's been there in the past, what's coming in the future as we talk about some of the restaurants, and we'll take a look at the one attraction that's been there since 1982. So sit back, grab your Old Glory, and pour some bourbon as we talk about the American Adventure.
Is that what the kids are calling it nowadays?
Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah, I'm kind of uncomfortable by that.
Grab your Old Glory.
Yeah, wrap yourself in that American flag.
Give it the old Rockets red glare, huh?
Yep.
If it's turning red, you're rubbing it too
You
hard.
should probably spit on it if it's turning red.
Rubbing it too hard. Stop
Hey,
it.
just wait till those bobs burst in air. All right, so look, as we can't start with...
George Washington is rolling over in his grave.
He's throwing his wooden teeth at you.
As we start tonight's review of the American Pavilion, we got to go back to before 1982. Mikey.
How far back do you think I went on research for something that didn't exist?
1901.
Yeah, no, I didn't go all the way back to 1901.
Walt was born, and he loves America. There's your start.
How do you know he loved America when he was born?
In 1901, Walt was born, and he loved America. So obviously, Epcot was going to have an American pavilion in World Showcase. Actually, Scott, in my notes, I do say my second sentence is, no way could a Disney park not offer up something for the country that founding father Walt was so patriotic about.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I had it in there, but you had to go and fuck it up.
Walt's original version of Epcot had an American... no.
Well, now, to be fair, the original Epcot plan was to have these shopping centers that mimicked areas of the world, and one of them was the Old West. I mean, he really loved the Old West.
That's not... We don't have an Old West pavilion.
No, but we
Not
no,
yet.
but
We're getting there.
there is no other country that has a Western genre than America. Think about it.
I think Australia.
I would,
does.
yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Well, they still
It's
have
still
Old West
the
in
Wild
Australia.
West in Australia.
Yeah, but Outback Jack is not Clint Eastwood.
It's Kangaroo
Kangaroo
Jack.
Crocodile Dundee.
Crocodile Dundee is as Clint Eastwood as they're gonna. Also, no, okay, whatever. I don't see. I could go down that rabbit hole and argue that with you for all night's purposes, but no. Tonight we're talking about the American Pavilion at Epcot. So in 1977, when Scott version 5 of the Epcot Master Plan.
Oh God, yeah, the first forward they were disastrous.
They announced, they announced version 5 to the stockholders in 77, and the American Adventure was included in that plan. It was heralded as the gateway between the world of today and tomorrow, because its original location was going to be up at the International Gateway. It was going to be up at the very top of it, and it was going to basically bridge the gap between Future World and World Showcase.
Yep.
With its first floor basically just being nothing more than a walkway between the two distinct areas of the park, and the second floor housing the American Adventure attraction. So you fast forward a couple years to 79, and the pavilion's location changed in the next draft of Epcot. It's no longer at the forefront of the showcase. They've actually moved it across the way on the other side of the lagoon where it is today for a couple reasons. A, it wouldn't make America seem so elitist. Like, we want you to be the first. We're the first one you come to because America. B, they didn't want to depict, or they wanted to kind of depict U.S. playing host to the other countries of World Showcase, which is why they're all spread out around. Whoop! I knocked over my whiskey. Spread out around, as I gesticulate, World Showcase, coming off from the American Pavilion. And then also, finally, it's the same reason that the grocery store puts the cereal and the milk in the back. It would give guests a reason to venture deeper into World Showcase, especially if you got folks from the United States that want to go see what kind of cool historical thing they've put there, which, wasn't much.
And really, it was kind of funny that, like, Imagineering really fought Card Walker hard on this. Card Walker wanted America to be the host and to be the forefront of this, because he really felt like this was supposed to be our World Showcase where we play host to, and be like the World's Fair, where everyone comes to America first and then goes around the world. But yeah, no, Imagineering fought hard to change it once, like, after Card Walker said, hey, this is how we're going to do it.
And
he lost that battle.
He did, and I'm going to honestly say thank God, because original concept art for the American Pavilion had this crazy, sleek, and futuristic style, because it was going to be between Future World and World Showcase. So they tried to blend that by doing something, Tomorrowlanding, I guess. So yeah, being moved further away allowed it to have a more traditional kind of colonial design, and taking a lot of inspiration from, like, your Independence Hall and Boston's Old State House and Monticello.
Monticello, yes.
It's Monticello down here.
I think I would
whatever.
say Monticello too.
Yeah,
that's
say
why
in Monticello in New York.
See,
too.
but the thing is, Jefferson was a fan of everywhere else but America, so he would have said it in the Italian style, which would be Monticello.
Yeah, but he's dead.
He is dead.
So-
And
allegedly.
you know what? If you're dead, you're wrong.
Allegedly.
Oh no, he gone.
He gone.
He did.
TJ's gone, brother. Now, interestingly, Scott, you mentioned that it uses forced perspective, and it does. It does make use of it a lot like what you see on Main Street, but they do it backwards here. It's actually, they take this building that is big and try to make it look smaller. So the Imagineers and architects take this 5-story building that houses the show and the other, the restaurant and the gift shop, and then make it look like it's 2.5 stories tall, because it's got some big motherfucking doors on it.
Yeah, big doors, big windows.
Big windows. Now, since the idea of this pavilion, like we said, the core of it was that U.S. was playing host to the other countries, the pavilion was actually kind of built up a little higher than the other ones around it. So it's not really the first one you see, but it's still kind of the showcase of the rest of it, because it's built up a little higher. It's like it's sitting at the front of the table.
I want to say you actually walk up. I want to say it's
There's
a
a ramp
story.
there.
I want to say it's like 15 feet above every other pavilion. It's about 15 feet higher than the rest of the of Epcot, of World Showcase.
Talking as somebody who ran through it, there's a ramp there. You can tell you're going up.
Oh, it's definitely a
You
ramp.
can tell it's an incline on both sides.
Now, it, like I said, it's not only just, being the host to the rest of the world, as it were. It's also kind of telling the country's rich, America's rich history with the architectural stylings, and then with the attraction that's inside of it. And it's this reason that that Disney decided, instead of just calling it the American Pavilion or the USA Pavilion or the Pavilion of the United States of America, POTUS.
Oh God!
Imagineers. They went with it's called the American Adventure. It's like the one pavilion that technically Disney doesn't call something pavilion. It's just called the American Adventure. That's its official name. But whatever, it's the American Pavilion. I don't know why we got to label shit. So, moving forward, in 1980, official construction on the American Adventure Pavilion of the United States of America begins. using a design by architect named George Terapazzi, who also is known for the Grand Ole Opry.
Really?
Nice.
Not performing, but
The actual building itself.
yeah. Yep. And it opened in the fall of '82 with the rest of Epcot. The official dedication of this pavilion was held on October 11th, 1982, and was attended by American Express CEO Jim Robinson and the Coca-Cola president Doug
Kafka.
Something like that. Yeah, it's got a GH at the end of it, so we can go either way. And they attended because both of those companies were the corporate sponsors of the American Adventure when it opened. They lasted, let's see here, Coke dropped out in '98, and American Express took their ball and went home when Disney switched over to Visa in 2002. So, as far as the layout of the pavilion, in my opinion, it's pretty basic compared to the other pavilions throughout World Showcase.
There's nothing special about it. But
basically, you've got one big building.
Yep.
Now, as far as the layout of this pavilion, it seems kind of basic compared to the other countries in World Showcase, because it's just like one kind of long building, I guess. And I think that might actually be to kind of downplay or continue the downplaying of, like, America's not better and elitist and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe that's the reason I was able to grasp at like a straw there. That was my kernel. But you've got the one large building that has the main attraction located right in the center, the American Adventure. And then to the left of that, you have the Liberty Inn, the quick service. And then on the right, you've got Heritage Manor Gift Shop. And across from the main entrance is the only other part of the pavilion. You'll find the American Gardens Theater, and that's where they have most of the live performances and stuff like that. So anyway, that's about all the history there is there for that pavilion. It's kind of cut dry, straightforward. I guess, you know what, they probably, instead of going with, there's not a lot of history of the pavilion, because the pavilion is about the American history, more or less, if you go, to the American Adventure. So I don't know. That's all I got.
Look, there's really not much history behind it. It went through a couple changes, where it was located, what they wanted to do with it, but at the end of the day, they were always going to kind of make sure that there was an American pavilion when they did this kind of, World's Fair idea. And really, the pavilion hasn't changed too much since Epcot's opening in 1982, including the restaurant, which has been there since October 1st, 1982. So here to talk about the Liberty Publick Inn, spelled with a K, is Tim.
Well, there's a few food choices at the American Pavilion, so we'll start in the basic and work our way up to
the fancy
Liberty Inn. Quote, air quotes, fancy. So first you have the funnel cake stand, and that's exactly what it's named, and that's self-explanatory. We don't need to go into the funnel cake stand. So moving on to the Fife and Drum Tavern, you've got your standard popcorn, turkey legs, Mickey pretzels, and some slushies. For alcohol, you have Bud Light, Yingling, Sam Adams Seasonal, Shorts Brewing Company's Soft Parade Shandy, which I think that's a seasonal item.
Yeah, it's a lemonade beer mix thing.
Yeah, and then you have Sutter Home Pinot Grigio. You also have a Frozen Red Stag Lemonade, which is frozen lemonade with Red Stag Black Cherry Bourbon. A Spiked Root Beer. It's Barks Root Beers, Stoli Vanilla Vodka, and it's topped with whipped cream and mint, which is a little weird.
Interesting.
Galaxy Juice, which is orange, pineapple, and lime juice with grenadine and Black Stag Black Cherry Bourbon.
Wait, what?
It's called Galaxy Juice. It's on the menu right now at Fife and Drum. It's orange, pineapple, and lime juice with grenadine and Red Stag Black Cherry Bourbon.
Well, she sounds hideous.
That sounds like a lot.
Well, yes, it does. Moving on to Block and Hans. You can only get, the only food offering is a Mickey pretzel. There's Dasani water, Imagination pink lemonade, Kentucky bourbon barrel ale. This is also where you can get your Kona Hanalei, the official beer of Three Sheets Nation. Founders Rubeus, Blue Point Toasted Lager, Honor Warrior IPA, Mackenzie's Black Cherry Hard Cider, Corked Can Mr. Tractor Kolsch, and you also get Imagination Pink Lemonade with Old Smoky Blackberry Moonshine.
Interesting. That actually sounds way better than Galaxy's Edge drink.
Yeah, it does. And then moving on to the Liberty Inn. I'm so happy that they announced that this restaurant is getting changed, because it's basically just everything that is wrong with Disney World food, all in one spot. You have just typical burgers, fried chicken sandwich, macaroni and cheese, all beef, foot-long hot dog, a vegetable burger, chicken nuggets. I mean, it's basically just a McDonald's.
They used to have a really, really, really good burger. It was an Angus beef burger topped with pulled pork, and there's like frazzled onions. Oh, so good. But now it's gone. Now it's gone. It's been gone for like 10 years at this point.
Well, they do have some interesting limited time offerings, which I don't know if it's a seasonal thing or there's a space sandwich.
Oh, I know. This is like your Galaxy juice. It's because the Guardians of the Galaxy dance show. I pulled up the article.
Oh, you did? Okay.
There's
literally rocket fuel, which is frozen Coke slushy with grenadine.
Yep.
A space sandwich, which is barbecued pork sandwich with crispy onions on a brioche bun, and cosmic cake. Really?
Disney.
Your space sandwich is on a brioche bun that is tie-dye colored.
Oh, this is so
Come on,
horrible.
Disney. Come on.
This is horrible.
You had one job.
Oh, no.
That looks moldy.
No.
Yeah.
That looks moldy.
Yeah, it's
does.
exactly what it looks like.
It looks moldy.
People are going to return that and be like,
And-
why is my bun moldy?
However, this is where you can get your Buffalo Trace frozen Coke.
I've never had this. I've looked into getting it, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I'll just have a beer.
It is a very popular item. We've never had it, but it's a very popular item that a lot of people seem to gravitate towards. So maybe in September for BSB we can get somebody to get
I
one.
just never pull the trigger. I want to try it because, I mean, everybody loves a frozen Coke.
I've never been in the restaurant though.
I usually eat there at some point in the trip because, one, it's empty. I mean, every time we go in there at like prime lunchtime, it's empty.
It's because you can get that shit anywhere.
Yes.
That food,
This
you
is
can get that up
also
at-
the place where you can find the emptiest and cleanest bathrooms.
It is
in
the
World
best
Showcase.
bathrooms in the best bathrooms in Epcot because they're brand new. I mean, generally when I go to the American Pavilion for food, I go over to Fife and Drum, and I get a big beer and a big turkey leg.
turkey leg.
And
of course you do.
And then I go sit down
Turkey
inside
leg.
in the air conditioning and chow down on that thing.
So are we going to talk about the
Yeah, let's talk about the news portion.
well, I was going to say, do we talk about the festival buildings that pop
Yeah,
up?
we could do that. From time to time, they pop up.
Yeah, well, for Flower and Garden, the Smokehouse Barbecue and Brews will pop up. And you have the pulled pork slider, shredded beef brisket with smoked potato. That changes
Those things,
because sometimes they do the burnt ends.
yeah, they change the menu out from time to time, but it's basically two different kinds of smoked meat and then some like vegetarian corn thing.
Usually it's lately it's been the burnt ends hash with the brisket.
It's pretty good. It's actually pretty good.
We've had it a few times and the burnt ends have been really dry.
Oh,
and
yeah?
Really
Yeah,
good.
sometimes
So-
it depends on when you catch it.
When we went in spring of 17, they had it there with the jalapeno and cheddar sauce that like went on it. Oh no, the pimento cheese sauce.
That was the slider, wasn't it?
No, it was the burnt ends with that like jalapeno pimento cheese sauce. So good. So good. And then
then
they did have a pulled pork slider though. That was alright.
Yeah, and that usually has with the pimento cheese.
Pimento cheese is really good.
It's southern.
It's delicious.
And there's a warm chocolate cake with bourbon salted caramel sauce and spiced pecans. The alcohol choices pretty much stay the same for Food and Wine and Flower and Garden. You get the frozen simple lemonade, which is non-alcoholic. Central 28 Brewing Company Sunshine Greetings Orange Hibiscus White Ale. Three Daughters Brewing Phantasmus Spice Double IPA. Shipyard Maple Bacon Stout. Bone Shaker Zinfandel. And you can get the Simple Lemonade with Firefly Blackberry Moonshine. You can also get a beer flight.
The the porter, maple bacon porter.
The maple bacon porter
was really, really good. That was really good. Of all the beers that I remember, that was amazing.
Yeah, the maple. I remember. I had that. That was really tasty.
The chocolate Bock. There was a chocolate Bock there one time. That was rich, and I could drink one of those, but after one, I was kind of done.
So interesting for Food and Wine this year. The booth is hops and barley, but the menu has changed pretty substantially. You get a New England lobster roll, a New Brunswick slider, which is slow braised beef brisket, pot roast style with horseradish cream, crispy fried onions, and a potato roll with pickled vegetables, and a carrot cake with cream cheese icing.
I'll have all three.
What other icing would you put on a carrot cake?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
You can't. There's no way you can put anything else.
It's gotta be cream cheese. And you got North Coast Brewing Company Blue Star Wheat, Three Daughters Brewing Awake Coffee Blonde Ale, Heavy Seas Americanon APA, Angry Orchid Rosé Hard Cider, Marisol Reserve Chardonnay, Broadside Cabernet Sauvignon, and then obviously a beer flight.
I like both of these festival booths. They're always good.
They're
hit and miss. They're hit and miss.
I mean, like,
the alcohol is always good.
I mean, the food at most of these pavilions, it is hit or miss. It all depends on when you go. If you go early in the day, like when they first open, you're oftentimes getting yesterday's leftovers.
Yeah, never go first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Drink in the morning,
because that was our mistake.
Yes, around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock is when I'd say it's safe to. You're going to be getting the fresh stuff.
Yeah.
The lobster roll is not bad. It was a little bit over mayonnaised, but it was not bad.
I haven't liked the lobster roll every time I've had it.
I will say the better lobster roll is over at Columbia Harbor House. It's actually really good.
I haven't. It's not something that's good at fast food.
No.
And that's the issue here. It's just I haven't had a good one. It's either over mayonnaised or not enough seasoning. There's always something weird with it.
The one at Columbia Harbor House is better.
Yeah, but Tim won't eat anything at Columbia Harbor House. So
no tuna sandwich.
Pot roast at Columbia Harbor House.
He doesn't like turkey.
No tuna sandwich.
There's pot roast there. I don't know. I don't do anything that crawls out of the ocean.
I'm pretty sure tuna doesn't crawl. If you're eating crawling tuna, that's another fish or a whole or two altogether.
So now the exciting news that was just released in this past week is that Liberty Inn is closing on July 8th.
Woo! Finally.
About time.
Finally.
About time.
To be replaced by the Reagle Eagle Smokehouse.
The Reagle what?
Reagle Beagle. Not the Reagle Beagle. This is not Mr. Roper and Jack Tripper. This is the Reagle Eagle. They missed the boat on that one because they should have called it the Reagle Beagle. But it is described as a craft, drafts, and barbecue by Disney.
If they do this right, this will be amazing.
It's not going to be done right. We already know it's not going to be done right.
Not. But, I mean, listen, the description is a new location will be a modern barbecue smokehouse with all the accompanying sights, sounds, smells, and flavors you love, including a large smoker preparing fine food every day right on the pavilion's promenade.
So
there'll be a redesigned patio for you to enjoy and get ready to grab a brew, some barbecue, and relax inside Epcot.
So basically, we're going to have the smoker outside, where the
right in front,
drawing people in. Look, like I said, if they take this to a real barbecue and not fast food barbecue, not Mighty Quinn's.
It can't be worse than what's there now.
It's going to be fast food barbecue. There's no way they couldn't put out enough plates for it not to be fast food barbecue.
Yeah,
It's gonna-
not
it's
from
gonna
that
be
smoker
equivalent.
out front. That one smoker is not.
Yeah, it's just not
No.
enough. You
No. They need a whole smoke house.
It's a prop smoker is what. It's
I'm sure it will. Look, I'm sure that smoked meat will make it into like 1% of the plates that actually get served.
Oh yeah, without
that
a doubt.
smoked meat is just for show.
Well, I mean,
smoked meats for cast members.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now here's my question about this. They are really playing up this craft brew thing, and I just feel like Epcot is sorely lacking in any kind of American whiskeys. They're all mixed in.
You're never going to get a whiskey place in Epcot. It's the
I'm
same
not saying
reason
I want
why
only whiskey.
it's the same
I mean,
reason
how-
why they took away the aquavit.
But how come I can walk over to the UK and get a Scotch flight, but I can't get a bourbon flight?
Right.
It won't happen.
Yeah.
Why though? I mean, we should
really
be able to
should.
get one.
Because you have places like the Polite Pig, you have places that already do it and do it better.
That's true. I mean, if you're going
I
to go
would-
get bourbon, that's one of the places
Yeah.
you're going to do it.
Sure. I'm not saying you need
Well,
to
that
put...
is the place to get it if you're gonna get bourbon.
I'm not saying put, your top shelf stuff out there. But I'll tell you right now, you get all these guys that are drinking their Jack and stuff like that, and you do just like a Jim Beam flight.
Or even like Buffalo Trace, Knob Creek.
You see, and I honestly feel the reason why it won't happen, because how many people are really getting that Scotch flight? How many people are intimidated?
lot.
Yeah, the Scotch flight has gotten real popular recently.
Right,
A lot of
but
people get the Scotch light.
I think a bourbon flight would bring more drinkers, and you'll have the same situation where you had the aquavit, where they got rid of it because people were just doing shots of it.
Well, I think you'd have to do it in the not so much in the restaurant, but I mean it is a restaurant in the walk-up restaurant where you can order the flight, take it to your table, and sit down.
That's why they won't do it.
Yeah, because they're not. Yeah, that's sadly this isn't being set up as it's not being set up like it would be like a bar type thing. I
Right.
guess like what you have.
Well, thankfully, there's still a few bars that we can go to Disney and get a bourbon
Right,
flight.
because you need a full bar setup. It seems like any kind of flight like that is going to need a full bar setup. Mm-hmm. You have a full bar setup at Rose and Crown.
Damn it, Disney!
Well, they might do a full bar setup at this new restaurant. We don't know. They haven't announced anything yet.
It would be the perfect spot,
It would.
especially with a redesign and trying to plug the whole southern barbecue aspect thing. But at the end, it's going to be a bunch of plaid wearing, skinny jeans, suspenders, bow ties, craft beers, handlebar mustache.
I mean, craft beers are a big thing too.
They are, and they're easy to come by.
But
And they're not
typically
as-
Disney's craft beer is Yingling, Sam Adams, seasonal,
Yes, but
and
at the end of the day, they're not as expensive as your bourbon is going to be.
they're not. But those aren't necessarily craft beers either. So
But what I'm saying is your bourbon flight is going to be a significant expense to have anything
It'll
good
just
on
be-
it.
interesting to see how they play this out and if they do it right or not.
I think it's gonna be. It has potential, and I'll say it this way: it has potential to be very good. I have a feeling it is going to be fast food barbecue, like Mighty Quinn's or something like that.
And we'll have basically what it'll be is this flame tree.
I hope not. I hope it's more Whispering Canyon because that barbecue it's decent.
And it's gonna. I have a feeling this is gonna be more flame tree.
I really
I think
hope not.
it's going to be packaged well. Like it's going to look great and be packaged well and hit everything right there. But I think once you open up that box, it's going to be a little lackluster compared to what we would want. Mm-hmm. But
Yeah. Well, look,
Damn.
I'm looking forward to it. I will miss the Liberty Public Inn. It was always a good place to get out of the heat. The nice thing was you could order a beer on the mobile app and it would be ready there for you without having to wait in line.
I can't imagine that this would change that, though.
No, it's probably not. I mean, you're still going to be able to order, I think, mobile order here. Looking forward to it. Really am. Really am. Then again, I like barbecue.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'll give Disney the benefit of the doubt to start, and then they'll show me that I'm completely wrong and misplaced in my trust, and I'll again hurt for about 40 minutes and then get over it.
You go somewhere else to get something to eat because there's always another place to grab a bite.
Yeah.
True story.
Lots of food.
Right next door to Germany.
Yep. You can get some schnitzel. You can get some smoked sausage there. All right, so after you've had your food, it's time to sit down and enjoy the sweet sounds of the American Pavilion. And here to tell us about the entertainment options there, both past and present, is Adam.
Well, past is really past at this point, because I don't even remember seeing them, and this was Epcot Spirit of America Fife and Drum Corp. And basically, they used to wander around that area of Epcot, and they were actually there at the opening of Epcot, and they did renditions of Grand Old Flag, God Bless America, and a lot of military classics, and accompanied by poses to stir memories of classic American works of art as well as entertainment. This went the way of everything else did in 2014, and they closed it, and not to be replaced, pretty much. It's been gone. The other entertainment that you can catch over there, it's also been going since the park opened, is the Voices of Liberty. Now, this is still there, and they are amazing. And they're an 8-member a cappella group, and they pretty much sing patriotic choral performances, and they are in the rotunda of the main building. And the acoustics are amazing in this building. They are some of the best. So if you get a chance to see them, make sure you get into that rotunda to actually hear the reverberations that go on through the rotunda. Basically, they're dressed up in costume period finery from the 1800s. The show lasts about 15 minutes or so, and they do songs like Star Spangled Banner, Shenandoah, Dixie, When Johnny Comes Marching Home, Old Susanna, This Land Is Your Land. They also have a battle hymn. They do a few medleys of folk music. They change it up for Christmas, so they'll do some traditional Christmas carols during the holidays. They also perform in the candlelight processional as well. And there is a small select group that actually forms a group outside of Disney. And they're called Voctive, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah,
but
it's right.
Sounds good.
Because it's a C and it should be an X, I think. But there's
like octave and voice.
Yes.
Octave.
Yeah.
And these are some of the members that were past, present, current, that were actually part of Voices of Liberty that still perform. They have performed for presidents, you name it. They have been performed for every major president. They have. They've been around the block a few times. Also at the American Gardens Theater, which is the big amphitheater. You can't kind of miss it if you walk by it. And this is where all your concerts pretty much go on for Food and Wine in the fall, and Garden Rocks goes on during Eat to the Beat. It's just, I mean, there's really a lot that goes on here, but at the same token, not as much. Because what is it called? Voices of Liberty are usually right before the American Adventure. And you can catch that. You don't have to go into the American Adventure if you don't want to.
It's kind of in like this museum-ish area.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the rotunda, really. So this is where not that much is. It's just this big, round, open space.
And wasn't the rotunda designed specifically of the?
It was actually designed to host this or an a cappella group. They wanted to make sure they have entertainment going on here, so they actually made this rotunda perfectly acoustic.
Yes, correct. It's awesome.
It is really good. If you've not seen them,
It's a great show to see.
You don't know what you're missing. This is a gem of Walt Disney World live entertainment. We don't have many.
Time.
We don't have many that best Disneyland, because Disneyland gets all the good performers. this is one of them.
California.
Well, yeah, no,
Well, Disneyland gets all the best everything.
they do.
But this show will get you right in your patriot testicles.
Oh yeah, if this doesn't give you a red, white, and blue heart on, I don't know what does.
At the very least, it'll be red.
Oh God.
I really enjoyed it, and honestly, if you do have a crave, head over to your nearest Spotify. They have the Voice of Liberty soundtrack on Spotify.
Yeah, it's from the
I have not-
80s, though, I want to say.
But the songs are from like the 1780s.
Yes.
So I think
it
it's probably
doesn't matter.
aged okay.
Yes. Well, I
I've
mean,
not-
you're talking
I've not-
about the last original Voices of Liberty cast member, I want to say retired in 88, I want to say, at 65. 65 or 66. But she was the last original member.
Yeah, but the group still stands to this day. Outside of Epcot, they're the Liberty Voices, and then, like Adam mentioned, Voctave. You can catch those on YouTube. They do a lot of Disney medleys. It's pretty cool.
Yes. I wonder why that is. Why would they do Disney medleys?
I don't know. Maybe what's that? Subliminal messages that have been ingrained in their brain during training.
So, I mean, just a quick question, because I didn't really have much. Has anybody seen a performance at the Garden Theater?
Yes.
I've walked by it. I've never actually sat down.
Well, I mean, I didn't sit down. I stood because all the seats were taken. But I remember watching.
I had plans to see
Three
Boys
Dog
to
Night.
Men. And then we just, Ethan wasn't going to sit through a performance of Boys to Men. He doesn't know the greatness that is Cooley High Harmony.
God.
Boys to Men.
And so we actually saw them performing and saw them run out onto the theater from the side of where they do the Character Palooza over by the American Pavilion.
They didn't all run.
Well, they jogged.
The one guy's got a cane.
Yeah, they jogged.
They walked really fast.
But
what you see,
They
Mikey?
hobbled.
but it was
Or
pretty
what you
cool.
walk by?
It's a good theater. It really is a nice theater.
It's an amphitheater, so you don't necessarily have to line up to actually see or hear what's going on. And I mean, if you do want to see, they do have all the packages that you can get for
Yes.
the performances. If you are a DVC and AP, they sometimes have reserved seating for a lot of the shows for those as well. I mean, it's kind of cool. You get some fun 80s throwbacks.
Yep.
And you get some interesting 70s throwbacks.
And
Like it's always one singer featuring the music stylings of Styx because they can't really use Styx.
Because it's not the whole band, it's the lead singer.
is
It's
it-
like Stephen
yeah, is it
DeYoung.
just
It's stick.
Yes,
it's just Dennis DeYoung, and then his fake
Dennis
his
DeYoung. I
fake
said Stephen DeYoung.
bandmates who were never part
It's
of
like
Styx.
they had the original lead singer of Journey
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now, Mikey.
Which is
singing
just
that one
Jor-
song you wanted to hear.
At that point.
Now, Mikey, you did some look up into the American Gardens Theater.
I did. I mean, it's a theater.
Yeah.
It's it butts up to World Showcase Lagoon there, and it faces the American Adventure. It was originally envisioned as this open air stage venue, and it was originally constructed that way. But it now has a partial cover over it and a backstage dressing and show equipment area. That was, I love this part of my research. That was added in 1993 to accommodate a show where Disney partnered with Mattel for the Magical World of Barbie, the stage show that ran for 1 year. And they needed dressing rooms for costume changes, and they needed props and stuff, so they kind of built this backstage area onto the back of it to accommodate the Magical World of Barbie.
Correct. I read that too.
Was there like some anniversary of Barbie that was going on?
35. It was her 35th anniversary, and
big birthday.
Disney and Mattel had partnered in a lot of stuff over the years. And I'm not going to name names of who was in charge at the time, But he decided, hey, this sounds like a match made in heaven. We'd love to host it, and I think the best place to put this show is in World Showcase. Because the premise of it was Barbie welcomed all these friends that she had met over the 3 decades of her career as a plastic doll. So you had all these other Mexico Barbie type characters and stuff like. Well, I mean, yeah, just Barbies from around the world or other friends of hers from around the world, and that was the thing. Interestingly, they held for months. They held open auditions for people to audition for Barbie, and they decided, no, we got nobody, until they picked the second runner-up of the Miss USA pageant that year. It was like, hey, she's awesome. She's from Utah. Let's put her in, because nothing screams Barbie like Mormons.
Well, I mean, let's not. Did you do your research to see what was in there before that, though?
Oh God, this thing.
No.
River Dance?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He went in there twice.
Well, no. The first time he went in was actually him. The second time they went in, it was a show that he wasn't in, but it was based on the stylings of.
Well, sure.
Well, in that, right around the millennium, that Lord of the Dance thing was super freaking popular.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing a screensaver that had dancing macaroni doing Lord of the Dance.
And actually, if you're wandering around World Showcase Lagoon, about 40 minutes prior to Illuminations, or what used to be Illuminations, you could actually hear some of the songs that they did in the second run of this, the summer of 2000, where they had kind of a Lord of the Dance kind of theme going on.
So, but nowadays, like Adam had mentioned, you can get all kinds of performances all year, all year long.
Now it's all year long.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so starting early in January, you had Disney on Broadway with their shows.
Well, it's part of the Festival of the Arts, and how that works is they usually team up 2 people that were started one of those shows. I don't know if it's still just on the weekends, though, because at one point, the performances were just on the weekends.
For the Broadway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Garden Rocks, that was 7 days a freaking week.
Yes.
Oh,
Garden
yeah,
Rocks
7 nights a week.
And
You
Eat to
had
the
Wang
Beat.
Chung and Sister Hazel. I mean, shit. Can't beat that.
Air Supply. Well, what's funny is
Night Ranger.
when Flower and Garden first opened, they would have the Garden Rocks concert series, but it was definitely more 50s and 60s. It's now transitioned to 70s, 80s.
Well, because the 50s and 60s.
they're wilting.
Yes, that's the nicest way to put it. I mean, you can't keep that up too long.
Yeah.
Well, they got a pill for that, though, when you're in your 50s and 60s.
Yeah, but that's
when you've reached the gray dawn.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to help their vocal range.
Yeah, and now, even today, like this year, you could find Simple Plan. So we're even getting to the 2000s now.
What was their last song?
Welcome to My Life.
So,
Welcome to My Life and Addicted to You. That was their 2 hits. And both of them were featured as the opening for some MTV shows.
Oh, of course. In between the festivals, in between like the Flower and Garden and Food and Wine, though, you've got the greatest thing ever, the Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Live.
Mm-hmm.
Which just doesn't belong in the American Pavilion.
No.
Or it just doesn't belong. It just doesn't need to be.
I heard it's really good. I have never seen it.
I've heard it's good too.
It's gonna have
it's good.
to. It's gonna have to outdo the Frozen sing along, and that's tough.
Well, I'll tell you what, the music's better.
You think?
Yes. I will gladly sing along to the soundtrack from Guardians over the soundtrack to Frozen.
I don't think it's all the soundtrack to Guardians. I think they got like other stuff.
No, it's a couple. It's basically
It's like 80s.
Yeah.
It's 80s music.
70s and 80s, I think.
I don't know. And then like Adam said, in September for Food and Wine you have Eat to the Beat, and then after that you've basically got the Candlelight Processional that runs all the way to the first of the year, and then you got like some New Year's Eve thing that happens down there. But that ends up, over the course of the year, that ends up being more than 80 artists performing their music and 10 different hosts for the processional, and you get like fucking 2 months of dollar store Peter Quill dancing with Kmart Gamora. So
he's not wrong, guys. He's not wrong.
Well, I heard the Gamora is pretty good.
that's why I said Kmart.
Props to the makeup department for Gamora, because dancing
Serious.
in that heat with that makeup, it's got to run
Yeah.
quickly, and it doesn't for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know what they
Jake,
do.
Dillard's Gamora.
All right, there you go.
Dillard's, come on.
Yeah, Nordstrom's Gamora.
I wouldn't know what those are down here in Arkansas.
It's the same thing. Dillard's and Nordstrom
Okay.
are very similar.
All right then. I could call. I can't go Sears because they done packed up shop.
Same with Kmart around here.
Yeah, ours did.
Well,
too. It's a
Kmart and
furniture
Sears
store
are
now.
all the same company.
Yeah, that's right. They are. Ha, about that.
Now, like going back, if you could catch one of the acts, Adam, what would be your one that would be a can't miss? If you were to bring someone here, or going through the lineup,
It's easy. Postmodern Jukebox.
that'd be awesome.
Hands down, that's the only one I get pissed off about missing every time.
By 48 hours, huh?
Always.
Literally by 48
Always.
hours.
It's
Literally.
either
Yeah,
a week
they-
before, or a day before, or the day after. Never fails.
And like the really
They
shitty
take
part,
stage right after Big Summer Blowout. They take stage.
and the really
Never
shitty
fails.
part is you can't quite plan a trip around this because they don't release the acts until a few months before.
Well, the acts were literally just released like a week
Yeah.
ago.
And I mean, the other thing is, you couldn't plan a trip around this because Star Wars.
Yeah.
So even after the acts were released, it's very hard to get a room.
Yeah, I mean, even at DVC, try and get in a room 2 months out. You're good luck.
I mean, but I have annual passes and stuff. I mean, there's ways that if I really wanted to, but it's book solid now.
Yeah. What about you, Tim?
I'm looking at the list for the Eat to Beat this year, and a bunch of amazing new acts, and I would love to go down October 23rd to 25th because Sheila E. is performing.
Yeah, you've
If
mentioned
you've
that.
never seen Sheila E. live, it is a spectacle. It is a sight to behold. She will literally do a 20-minute drum solo.
She's the chick that works with Prince. Who else? She's got a long history in the music industry.
Tito,
Well,
I
Prince
want to say she worked with Tito
discovered-
Fuentes at one
Yep.
point.
Yeah, she worked with the Jacksons at one point. She's just an amazing drummer, an amazing singer. I would love to see her again live.
What about you, Mikey?
Hang on, I'm looking. Don't yell at me.
That's okay.
Oh my god, I'm just looking at this list. BB Mac is
You know,
new this year.
Some of it's really. What's gonna be? Do we have a list for Big Summer Blowout? Who's gonna be there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, and it ain't great.
Oh God.
It starts when we get there. The Almond
well-
Betts band. I don't know who that is.
I think it's the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, it's a version of the Almond
Betts.
Brothers.
Everclear. I mean,
Everclear.
That's straight up 1990s. That's
Yep. And then Starship featuring Mickey Thomas.
Wait, Everclear.
God.
They had that one song, right?
they had
Yes,
several.
they did.
What was
They had
It's
several.
Santa
what was their
Monica?
big one?
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
I don't want to be
I'm-
your stupid.
Yeah,
game.
I'm still just
Yeah.
the
living
big black
with
boots
you.
in an old suitcase.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
dude.
And what was the other
Some
one?
cheaters will still be there when Postmodern Jukebox hits the stage on the 23rd. We go home the 23rd. So
Yeah.
My sister-in-law will be down in September to check out the Almond Betts band, and I mean, I'm waiting for Jessica, and that's about it.
Well, she'll also be there and to be determined 13th to the 15th, right?
Yes.
Does she get down to 13th?
Yeah, she gets down the 13th to the 16th. That's her trip. She leaves on the 17th.
Yeah, I know. She went on vacation before she could cut my hair.
I know,
I'm
right?
upset.
Right? Of all of these, okay, there's a couple I would definitely want to see. Do not hate me. I do have a soft spot for BB Mac. I like BB Mac.
I don't know who that is.
You do. They're 90s R&B
Yeah,
band.
I don't know who
it's
that is.
It's
basically
the return of the Mac.
it's three white
that
guys
him?
singing "Back Here, Baby."
Yeah.
Don't know that song.
When you Google BB Mac, you'll hear it.
I know Return of the Mac.
It's not Return of the Mac.
Oh, he doesn't sing that?
No. And it's three.
Well, he missed an opportunity.
It's three guys.
Oh my gosh.
The Ghost
No,
of
I
You and
don't
Me
know
is a
who that
great
is
song.
then.
Chris Allen, I liked him on American Idol. I'd love to see him
don't know
back.
who
I don't
that
know what
is.
he sings, but he was a good singer. Sheena Easton, For Your Eyes Only. Great song.
She is not singing that song.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she probably will.
That's her. Well, that's the only song I know that she
What
sings.
She was a big 80s.
Yeah. She's big in the 80s. The one
I have a hard time not seeing Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
That she'll sing Sugar Waltz.
Yeah.
The one I would like to see, and only because I've followed them recently, since they've come out with some new stuff, is De Cappella. This is the Disney a cappella group. They sing. They basically sang all the songs for Incredibles 2, all the theme songs for the superheroes. They're really good, really talented.
Are they
They're
one of
closing
those
out this year.
like a bunch of people, sort of like Postmodern
Supergroup.
Jukebox, though?
Oh, I would love to
So
see
you
that.
don't know, but you don't know who you're actually going to see when you go see them.
No, you don't. Well, Scott Bradley will be there. He doesn't sing.
No.
Really? Really? You think he'll
I
be
think he
there?
would.
No, it depends on. I don't think so. He does the big shows.
I think he would.
Well, it's Epcot. It's good. It's a big show.
It's only
Yeah,
two
but people
nights.
aren't paying for it.
I want to know
I
how
bet you.
come...
I bet you that crazy redheaded dude will be there.
Oh, without
Oh,
a doubt.
if
Casey.
Casey Blake.
Whatever his name is. Is it Casey Blake? It's Casey something.
What about Tambourine Guy?
Same guy.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
That's Casey Blake was the guy from American Idol. He does the
He's
beatbox
awesome.
thing, right?
Yeah.
The
No.
beatboxer?
No, he plays the
Oh
cello.
no,
and-
I'm thinking of. Oh, he is also from American Idol. Oh,
Yes, he's from American Idol, but I don't know.
they have a couple
And-
of Idol alumni.
Yes.
They have a
Well,
lot
yeah,
of
he's
them.
like, hey, it didn't pan out. Sorry. You want to come do something better?
Well, it is. It's better. I gotta say, Mikey, Tim, Adam, thank you for introducing me to Postmodern Jukebox. It's a standard rotation on my Spotify.
Oh, it's amazing.
But yeah, no, I like all of these series. They're all good. It's fine it's fun to kind of just walk by and listen and check it out while you're hanging out in the theater, or while you're hanging out in the pavilion.
Just passing by.
Yep. Pass by, catch Sugar Ray's fly, and then walk on.
They are there. They're
He's there
like
all
they're a
the time.
staple.
They are,
Yeah. Them and Hanson. They're a staple every year.
and he does 4 nights. He does 4 nights of that show.
He needs the money.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything anymore.
I heard in this for it though. He puts on a good show. He
I
runs up
heard.
and
Yeah,
down the
I did hear
aisles
he
and-
puts on a very good show.
I mean, he only gets so far on the royalties from the Scooby-Doo soundtrack.
This is true.
Or their first album. AKA their last
yeah.
album.
Someday.
When my life has passed me by. Oh, man. All right, well, look, as we close out the American Pavilion, there's only one thing left, and that's the actual attraction / show of...
Nice place to take a nap.
Adam, I nearly fought Mikey on the alleged moon landing thing.
You can fight me all you want. I fell the fuck to sleep the last time I
Oh, this
tried
is
to watch
such
this.
a good
It is
show.
such a bad version of American history. It is so sterilized that it
Well, yes.
No.
Do you remember when we talked about the Japanese pavilion and what was supposed to go in there?
It was kind of dark.
Yeah, this is super whitewashed,
Literally.
but essentially, the American Adventure, the actual name of the show, the American Adventure, takes guests on a trip through America's history. Now, it's narrated by 2 audio animatronic figures, one of Benjamin Franklin, and the other is Mark Twain. Now, there was supposed to be a third, and that was supposed to be Roy Rogers. But they were fearful that in 1982 people wouldn't remember who Roy Rogers was, so they nixed him.
He had a chain of restaurants.
Yes.
It's an auto parts store down here.
They had good roast beef.
Exactly. But the voices are narrated by Dallas McKinnon. If you don't remember his voice, you will find it over at the Country Bears. We talked about him last week. He narrates Benjamin Franklin, and then John Anderson narrates Mark Twain. And he was in a bunch of westerns in the 60s. He actually also did the voice for Abraham Lincoln in Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. So basically, you go into this theater. It's a beautiful auditorium, and they have these 12 statues around the theater. Each of the statues kind of shows a spirit of America. So they have the spirit of adventure, and the statue is a seaman. The spirit of compassion, which is a lady doctor. The spirit of discovery is a mountain man. The spirit of freedom is a pilgrim. The spirit of heritage is Sacagawea, the Native American who helped Lewis and Clark cross the western United States.
And she was on the dollar coin.
She's on the dollar coin. I can't tell you how much.
He just flew right over his
Nobody would get that. Very few
Nobody
people are
get
going to get that.
Unless you're a Shirley Kulicker fan, you will never get the dollar card joke.
Ask your mama how she doing.
Ask her mama how she doing.
Them churns.
Mikey knows who she is.
Perpendicular head lady.
Perpendicular head lady.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Google Shirley Kulicker, you will not be disappointed.
Used to listen to Jim Zippo in the morning down here, so I'm familiar with Shirley Kulicker.
Yeah.
The spirit of independence is an American Revolutionary soldier. The spirit of individualism is a cowboy. The spirit of innovation is George Washington Carver. The spirit of knowledge is a school teacher. Pioneering is Charles Lindbergh. Self-reliance is a farmer, and then a spirit of tomorrow is a mother holding her child. It's a beautiful theater. You guys have been inside of it, right?
Yes.
It's
a
absolutely
very nice
beautiful.
map.
Like it's a well designed theater.
It's Americana.
Yes.
I have
It's
not
a
been.
very, like, when you think of old school Americana theater, that's what you get.
Yeah. Behind it is a 72 foot wide screen that actually has a rear projection, and that's where you get all the projections for the show, for the movie, for the lighting. It is a marvelous masterpiece of engineering feats, because all of these scenes that are playing out, that you see these animatronic figures between this Roy Rogers and Ben Franklin and Mark Twain, and then Susan B. Anthony and Andrew Carnegie, all of these audio animatronic figures are kind of like essentially flown in from the ground, flown in from above, and they kind of beautifully balance throughout the theater through an engineering feat. It really is cool. Like we talked about the Country Bears being amazing, how all of these sets are set up. This is really an engineering feat to see how they pull this off.
The tech on it is amazing.
Tech is amazing. Now, the movie or the show takes you from periods up, starting at the American Revolutionary War, with one of my favorite songs in the entire show, which is "In the Days of '76." It's an old song from the Revolutionary War. It's just well done, and it's kind of like this. You get this feeling of a birth of a new nation, and you feel really, gung ho about it. And then you progress to the Civil War, and we have our very famous song "Two Brothers," which was written by Irving Gordon, who's an American songwriter. Beautiful song. It definitely shows the tearing apart of a country. After the Civil War, we head to the Centennial Exposition of 1876, which was in Philadelphia, and that's where we kind of represent American industrialization and ingenuity, which is then followed by the Great Depression. We see images of like Georgia O'Keeffe and the Dust Bowl, and we get the music from E.Y. Harburg, the Brother, Can You Spare a Dime? Those kind of like really, it just shows what despair the country was in at the time. And then finally, after that, we culminate in probably the best part of the show, which is what I call America's Greatest Hits. And we basically go from World War II up to the present, and we show all the good things that America's done. You know, the moon landing, the tearing down of the Berlin Wall, Tiger Woods winning the Masters. Yes, it's there.
The Berlin Wall America did?
Well, it's, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And it just magically happened that way now.
Yeah, right? Ronnie Reagan.
No. No.
So, up until 1993, this was kind of the same exact show, and then about mid-2007, 45 seconds of footage were added to the end of Golden Dreams montage, which the most famous one is the New York City Police Department, New York City Fire Department rescue crews after 9/11, and it's George Bush doing his speech atop the rubble of the World Trade Center. I'll tell you what, this gets me every time. The song that plays at the end of this and kind of leads you out is Golden Dream, lyrics by Randy Bright, additional lyrics by Lynn Hart, and then the vocals were by Richard Page. If you remember Mr. Mister, he was the lead singer and bassist for Mr. Mister, and Saida Garrett, who was she worked with different bands, the Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, Pointer Sisters, and that's the theme song for the show is Golden Dream. And then you're let out into a gift shop, kind of, sort of. It's not far away.
It is a shitty gift shop,
It is. It really could be better.
Not much going on in there.
You know what it feels like? It feels like the gift shop at the end of like a museum.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, true.
Trinkets with the
And there was a
American
museum in
flag
there.
made in China.
So have you guys have watched the show?
Yes.
Tim?
Allegedly.
I have not.
Allegedly.
I like it. I really do like it. It's long. It's 30 minutes.
It's long.
Oof.
It's long-winded at times. And I have problems with it. It's not my favorite thing to do. It's not my favorite thing to watch. The last time I watched it maybe twice in its entirety. I have fallen asleep every other time I've tried to watch it. I think I would enjoy watching the tech part of it more than the actual show.
Yeah.
At this point. And that's a problem with most shows like this, though. It's once you see it, it doesn't change.
Something significant has to happen in the history of the country for that to change.
But I get that. But at the same token, how many times do you go to the movie theater to watch the same movie? Maybe twice, if it's a really good movie. I said maybe twice.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like, I'll wait for it to come out on video, and then you try to watch it on video, and you're falling asleep on your couch.
Oh, sorry, real quick. I have one correction. It wasn't Roy Rogers. It was Will Rogers, the American cowboy.
Oh.
I was just going to say, Roy Rogers, that didn't...
There's a difference
there's
There's
there.
a huge difference there.
But again, Disney Imagineering didn't think that Will Rogers in '82 would have been entirely relevant.
The Will Rogers Institute.
It should have been, but I think today Will Rogers Will Rogers would be completely relevant.
For you. And for select few.
No, he would be completely irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
I thought you said completely
No,
relevant.
he would
now.
be completely... I forgot his name. I called him Roy.
Well, Roy Disney. It's an easy mistake to make.
I like food. That's where I went with that.
Well, we're getting a Roy Rogers next door.
Are you really?
No, in the American Pavilion. We're getting barbecue.
No, Ray Rogers wasn't barbecue.
It was chicken.
It was shitty burgers
Burgers and chicken.
and curly fries.
Yeah.
It was basically Bob's Big Boys. For the rest of the country that doesn't know what Rogers is,
Yeah, it
it's
was
Bob's
Bob
Big
Biggs.
Boys. Or Carl's Jr.
I love Carl's Jr.
Oh, you mean Hardee's?
No.
Yes, Hardee's.
No, Hardee's is different. Hardee's is a
No,
little
it's
different.
not.
It is. It's not now, but it was way back in the day.
It was back then.
I was gonna say it's the exact same now because we don't have one
Shit,
anymore.
I
They
grew up
took
on
them all away
Famous
from me.
Stars. So, Mikey, you've never seen the show.
No,
Why not?
because I'm drinking. Not bourbon.
Okay.
I mean, you got
Dude, it's in between Italy and Japan.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like there's nothing.
Well, can we talk about the placement? I mean, they put America in between the Axis powers.
Of course they did.
On, really?
Of course they did.
Really?
We're surrounded.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
I don't know. I would like to, but at the same time, I've gone 2 times with my kids, and this ain't going to happen.
No, I can see that.
And then I've gone once without them, and I was just trying to enjoy Epcot without them, and then a thunderstorm happened, and I had run like God, how many Ks was it? 5, and my
2 days
feet weren't
before.
the same. It was a bad thing. I've still not recovered 100% from that ordeal. I should probably go roll,
Yeah, probably.
but
Jennifer will tell you probably should.
and drink water.
Yes.
No, it saddens me to say that the American Pavilion just kind of seems lackluster, and I don't know if it's because I'm of America or if it's just because you walk through it and it's just a building made to look old.
Now, I will say, of the attraction, of the actual show, I love the opening line for this.
America did not exist. 4 centuries of work, bloodshed, loneliness, and fear created this land. We built America, and the process made us Americans. A new breed, rooted in all races, stained and tinted with all colors. A seeming ethnic anarchy. Then, in a little time, we became more alike than we were different. A new society. Not great, but fitted by our very faults for greatness.
That was said by Ben Franklin, quoting John Steinbeck. And I really love the message it sends. I just love the attraction because of it does celebrate American history. And I'm a big history buff. It celebrates the good things we've done in this world for the last 400 years.
And it glosses over the bad things.
Well, of course it does.
But forget about glossing over. The bad things don't exist.
Well,
Pixie does.
It-
Pixie
it's
does.
It's
Someone's beating that fairy's ass with a mallet.
now I love the show. Again, tech aspect of this is amazing. If for nothing, go watch it for the tech aspect.
Yeah, but you don't see the tech.
No, you don't.
So, I mean, there is a behind-the-scenes tour that I want to take that does show a lot of the tech. But, I don't know. I saw it twice. I have trouble staying awake through it now.
It's a long show. It's a long show, and if you don't do, you do this at like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, after spending the entire day at Epcot, you're going to be sun exhausted.
Well, it's not just sun exhausted. It's the music. It's the air conditioning. It's just like, I'm going to bed now. Thank you.
All right, so as we wrap up the American Adventure, the American Pavilion, there's really not much to vote on for what makes up the ultimate American attraction, or the ultimate American Pavilion, other than
Hester and Chester's?
the Dinorama.
What?
Never mind.
It's really coming down between musical acts. That's really the only thing that's changed over the years. in which musical act you would prefer, and I think that's a hands down Voices of Liberty.
Yeah, Voices of Liberty are awesome.
I mean, it's not really a competition.
No.
I agree.
But going forward, we talked about it. There's going to be a new restaurant there. Not sure what it holds in store. There's plenty of room behind and to the sides of this pavilion for more stuff. I'd love to see a little bit more.
Like what though?
I'd love to see a sit-down restaurant. I'd go back to episode 83 where we did our next big resort, and I would love to see a fine dining restaurant, fine American dining restaurant, or even, some actual entertainment, more entertainment from America, a bluegrass band, a blues band. Get like take some of the land, put like a
Whiskey still.
I was going to say, put a speakeasy where, we're the only country in the world, well, in the civilized world, that has had prohibition at one point. Take a speakeasy and bring some jazz acts to the American Pavilion. I mean,
you could even just utilize the stage more for that.
But would they actually put a speakeasy? Because, again, this is part of history that they don't want to talk about.
I think speakeasies are cool now. Maybe we could do it.
It's a thing. It's a fad.
It is.
I get it, and I get that. But at the same token, they're not going to want to talk about the history of the speakeasy and what that actually represented.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that would go in.
I am with you, though, for a sit-down restaurant. I think we need something with the taste of America and just have cuisine from all around the country.
Yeah.
Get some Cajun, get some Midwest cuisine, some Southern cuisine, some New England cuisine.
The problem is with that, you're going to end up like with a menu that's like freaking, what is it called? Cheesecake Factory, where it's 4,000 pages of just menu.
Well, here's the thing. You could do, Disney goes through seasonal changes for a lot of their restaurants. If you did like a fall, spring, summer, and winter, where winter is more like colonial stuff, summer is more like, one of the things that is pretty Americanized these days is like the California surf taco kind of craze.
Do we need another California restaurant?
We don't have fish tacos in Disney, do we?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we do. I forgot where it
Aside
was.
from
Well,
a
you
food
wouldn't
truck.
notice because you wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, but he would eat.
But I know what goes there. I know
skirt
what's
steak
around.
tacos, some street tacos.
I would. It's probably a fucking food truck.
Here's what I think. I think I agree with Adam, and what we need is a honky tonk.
A good old fashioned honky tonk.
Sawdust on the
A
floor.
fucking honky tonk, man.
We have
Boot,
both kinds of
scoot,
music,
and boogie.
country and western.
Damn right we do.
Boogie. Little old school Brooks and Dunn.
King George, yeah, George Strait.
Yeah.
Oh, if we could bring Hamilton.
No, absolutely
No.
not.
No, I don't. Nope.
No, I don't think we could. I don't think
Who
we
wants? Nobody wants that.
All of a sudden Scott's like, well, I don't think. No, it's just no. Just no. Just
Oh.
no.
Just no.
They want it. They want it.
It will never
It's
happen.
the Tracy. It's the Tracy Morgan gif. No. Mm-mm. Nope.
You
No.
make Hamilton available like that to the masses, and people would be tearing it apart.
I'd go watch it.
You would.
Yeah.
But it's again, you're going to talk about spending 3 hours at our show in Disney? Nah, probably not.
It's not only that. I mean, even if they give it edited down, you're not going to get the Midwest to get on board with Hamilton.
I'll watch the Weird Al Yankovic Hamilton
Oh, that is good. That is good, actually.
on his accordion.
I look forward to see what they can do with this pavilion. I would like to see some more done.
Honky tonk.
Brooks and Dunn?
Yeah, Brooks and Dunn.
Hell yes! My tractor's sexy.
Somebody has to.
It really turned her
Was
on.
that Brooks and Dunn or was that Brad Paisley
I don't know who it was. I think when I was I was thinking of
or
another
Alan Jackson?
Brooks and Dunn song
No, it's
about a
not Alan
tractor
Jackson.
because there's a lot of them.
International Harvester.
International
Oh,
Harvester.
yeah.
That's
I
right.
love that song.
Hate that fucking song.
It's a great
Hate
song,
that
man.
song.
Make a
Every
lot of
time
hay
when
for a little pay.
Every time we fucking went anywhere for one whole summer, that fucking song was on.
It was like 2 whole summers here.
Awful.
Oh, Tractor Sexy is Kenny Chesney.
It's Kenny
yeah.
Chesney.
Oh, Mrs. Bridget Jones.
I don't like Kenny Chesney.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Not
you
a-
can never get over that.
Not a Chesney fan.
No, he will never get over that.
New
because of
face, who
allegations.
dis?
All right, look. So as we wrap up tonight's show, I think really the only vote here is again, what is the best entertainment act regularly available, and that's Sugar Ray.
I thought it'd be Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh yeah, no.
Yes. Well, yeah.
NPH.
Obviously, it's Neil Patrick Harris.
I thought you were going to pick Hanson.
they, you know what? When they come, Hops is featured at the Fife and Drum.
Hops is
It
there
is.
almost every festival season.
Yes, it is.
Why
So
aren't the
look,
Jonas Brothers playing.
you know, we're halfway through this. I've got a little twist when we get to the end of this. I'm not going to say what it is now, but when we get
We're
to the end of
halfway?
the Ultimate Epcot, we're
Chubby
going to...
Checkers at
Oh.
the end?
Yes.
God, I thought he meant we're halfway through this episode. I was about to freak out.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't.
Yeah,
I gotta go
I
to
didn't
bed.
do that
I
much
don't know.
research.
No, we're halfway through the World Showcase version of Ultimate Epcot. When we get to the end of it, I'm going to announce a little twist that we're going to do that'll be for a future show. And I'm excited about it because these 3 guys are going to be terrified.
Not one of us likes surprises.
I know. That's why.
I'm fine.
And you know what? We're like
This-
we're like
And
5
as
months
we
away
all
from
just,
this.
it'll be episode 100 all over again.
Yeah, you might just get jumped.
Maybe.
I think this is only like the second Ultimate Epcot I've been on. So,
That might be
Bring
true.
it.
That might be true, actually, because you weren't here for Canada.
I think this is like maybe the first or second.
No,
one.
wait.
No, it's
No,
definitely
he's
not
here.
the first
No,
because
he's
you
here
did
for
That's not
Japan.
true.
Because Canada, he
right.
had
did
he
Japan.
made so many beaver tail jokes in Canada.
And you did.
You were here for Morocco.
No, I was not. That was Josh.
No, he wasn't
That's
here
right.
for Morocco.
Josh
he was here
was-
for
Oh, that's right,
Japan.
it was Josh.
Japan. He
Yep.
did
Japan.
France. You've been on for a good.
England? Were you for
Yeah.
England?
I think he.
He was
UK?
in there for the London.
Did I?
I don't know if you remember some of these
You were there for
episodes.
UK?
Who am I kidding?
Yeah, I don't remember
And
last
listen,
week.
I
last
remember
month's episode.
doing this episode.
Well, that's the start.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Right now, I remember doing this episode. Ask me a year from now what episode this was, and I'd have
Ask
to tell
me
you.
tomorrow what I said tonight, and I won't know.
Adam, it's episode 122.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
It's not a year from now.
You realize you can listen to one episode a year for. Never mind.
Fuck.
For the next 122
Why
years.
would you do that?
You can listen to one episode a year for the next 122 years, which equates to 7 long days and 3 short nights in Scott math.
Well, if you're new to the show and you start listening to it now, it'll take you 4 months to
It
catch
would.
up if you listen to one episode a day.
It would.
Not counting quickies.
Yeah, not counting quickies. So, look, at the end of this, we'll have a little special episode that we're going to do. But we're on to the Italy Pavilion on our next episode when we do decide to do some Ultimate Epcot.
Which will probably never, because now we're all afraid of the surprise at the end.
It's really not that
I'm
big of a
not.
surprise.
I'm not. And I'm taking food again because that's my favorite
It's
food.
such a good food place. Such a good food place. If you're new to the show, if this is your first episode, we want to tell you to...
I apologize.
Why? We're getting better.
I don't
We're
know.
like a
Good
fine
episode.
wine. We get better with age.
Like a well-done
I
machine
apologize because I didn't have much to talk about. And then I stumbled over my words because I got a little
now. Just
drunk.
give me something.
If you are new to the show, we want to tell you to go over to www.themagicalmeltdown.com. Check out the t-shirts, the glassware. It's where you can find the glass that I am drinking out of right now, the 3 Sheets to the Mouse Glencairn glass. It is beautiful, and it holds your bourbon perfectly, and it makes it taste all that much better. It actually does. Scientifically, it does.
Does it cuddle the bourbon before you drink it?
No, but
It's the big spoon.
it allows the aromas of the bourbon to sit nicely in the big bulbous bottom.
We learned that from Bree. She
That's
told us
right.
about
Yes.
Fat bottom girls make the rockin' world go
They
round.
do. They do. And if you want to enjoy your bourbon as well as I do, get your own Three Sheets to the Mouse podcast, Glencairn Glass, and be fancy with us.
Well, you don't have to drink fancy bourbon out of it. I'm drinking fucking $18 for a half gallon.
You can drink the Miller
Not
Lite of
mine.
bourbon if you want.
This
Mikey's
is
got
the
a whole
natty
handle
light
of
of bourbon. This is better than Miller.
But I want to thank you all for joining us this week on Three Sheets to the Mouse. If you enjoyed the show, please go over to iTunes, rate, review, and subscribe. Subscribing is the best way for it to get pushed right to your phone, right to your tablet, right to your iTunes, so that you get it right then and there. Technically, iTunes is gone.
Not yet.
The iTunes store is gone.
No,
I thought it was.
not yet. It's going to be with the next update. That hasn't happened
Okay. It's almost gone. But you will still get your podcast over at the podcast app, or you can download the Podbean app, and also that will get pushed directly to your phone if you subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're over at 3 Sheets Podcast. If you're in the parks, tag us on Instagram, tag us on Twitter, and make sure you use the hashtag 3 Sheets Nation. Feature us in your stories. Stories are cool. They disappear in 24 hours. We hope we don't disappear in 24 hours from your timeline.
I'm too old to know what you just said.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Most of our listeners and group members, that's all we are. Their whole timeline
Yes.
is 3 sheets. So,
And if you want to interact with us over at the Facebook group, which is where all of the 3 Sheets Madness happens, that's over at facebook.com/groups/3 Sheets. That's where you can become part of 3 Sheets Nation. If you do want to join, and if you have not joined yet, I encourage you to do so. Lots of shenanigans, lots of debauchery, and just good old-fashioned fun with booze
Booze.
and Disney.
booze.
Lots of Disney there.
And
Less
We
than
kind of
big old stone dicks.
Yep, lots of stone dicks right now.
plaster dicks.
Yeah, I think it's probably
Plaster.
plaster.
It's plaster dicks. Yeah, it's probably plaster.
But you know what? It's a hand-carved dick.
I
Or at
think
the
it's
very least, the hand
computer
formed.
generated.
Hand-sculpted.
Was it one of them? Is that the D in 3D printing?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it is.
So if you're not a part of the 3 Sheets Nation, go over to facebook.com/groups/3 Sheets and become part of 3 Sheets Nation. It's pretty awesome there. All right, so guys, finished up halfway through Epcot, and then we're never going to talk about it again.
Correct. That is my plan. Anytime this topic is brought up, I will change it.
World Showcase, at least. We still have to go to Future.
Well, no, we did Future World. We did that on episode
Yeah, we
33. That's where we get the Adam suck my dick.
Yes.
We can go back to Future World, though, because there's so much
There
new things
is.
coming.
There is. Plenty of new things to come. So, Mikey,
Scott.
give me some closing remarks tonight.
America, fuck yeah. I haven't done the American Adventure, so I don't know what's going on inside there. I mean, there's the statues, there's some paintings, somebody humming,
Coming at you.
and it's you know, Carousel of Progress all over again. Did stop there and get a pumpkin spice pretzel, funnel cake. Funnel
Oh,
cake.
wow. Did you have your flannel and beanie cap and your horn rimmed glasses on?
No, I was wearing LuLaRoe leggings.
He was. He was.
Was that
we
the
paid
answer
him
you were
hundreds of dollars to
expecting?
wear those
You know
leggings.
what? It's
No,
the
but
right.
it was the answer he deserved.
It's the right answer. Lula Bro leggings, not LuLaRoe. Lula Bro.
That's right. I was a LuLaBro that day.
Yeah.
And Stephanie still hasn't been able to wear them again.
No, she has worn them once. She had to wring them out, though, because it was hot.
I'm sure you met a man
Good
who
luck with
talks
it.
about cars all day and showed him your license plate holder.
Family jewels.
My supple thighs. He was staring at my boots. What he was doing.
I can only imagine how awkward that was.
Only for a minute. It was awkward when I had to walk up and meet the assistant up front, the secretary lady. And she looks at the other two guys and then me.
She's like, I have that same pair. I'm going to go burn them.
No, she was just thinking, yep, this is my job. It's one of those moments.
They'll let anybody in here.
Chapter 13 of my memoirs. The day I met a man wearing women's pants.
Well. Wearing them well.
So, Mikey, give me some closing remarks tonight.
I thought I did.
Is that it?
What else was I? I really should have shoved a sock down the front of him. I don't know what you want.
That would have helped. That would have helped.
It really would have helped.
All right, Adam, give me some closing remarks tonight.
Well, Sheet Up is quickly approaching. We are under the 90-day mark, I think, at this point. Possibly. So, few people...
We are under the 90-day mark. We're almost under the 80-day mark.
Okay. What Tim said then. So, if you're all looking forward to doing that, make sure you tag yourself or get yourself onto the event page. A lot of stuff has been going down there. A lot of things have been posting. Okay, Tim has just showed me, as of right now, it's 77 days, but that will be, take away 4 days from that, and there's your answer. So, and then also
6
depends...
weeks.
What?
73.
But it also depends
10
on when
weeks,
you
10
listen
weeks.
to it.
That's true.
So, figure it out. Chip and Dale. Other than that, it was good seats talking to y'all, and we'll speak to y'all next week.
All right, Tim, give me some closing remarks tonight.
I'm glad we finally got a chance to discuss the American Pavilion, but just the American parts.
Of course. Skip over all those other parts.
That's a throwback to last week's episode with my replacement for Country Bears, just so you know.
Well, we still kept your parts American, just different side of America.
Yes.
Did Pop get a poll for that?
No.
No, I didn't put one up.
Because
You
I
are
sent you all back to the drawing
deficient.
board.
No, because I saw everybody was voting for Scott, so I didn't put one up.
Oh,
Everybody was like, I like Scott's idea, I was like, that poll's not good.
Yeah, he caters to the lowest common denominator. We need booze in Magic Kingdom.
wait a minute. The one chance
Everybody wanted a bar.
I
I was
have
like,
to get votes.
yeah,
I will go on record right now. I think in the combined history of 122 episodes and 48 quickies, I have gotten a grand total of like 7 votes.
All right, so you want me to do a belated poll?
Oh, you got more than that.
It was like,
I was going to give you 8.
yeah,
You got at least 1 vote per poll.
Yeah,
maybe.
You almost got 2 hands worth of votes.
Hey, you know what? Hopefully they're big hands. Well, look, I will say it has been fun talking about the American Adventure. I do love the Pavilion. If you have experiences that you've enjoyed there, if you have some of your favorite memories there, go share them when I post the episode.
Some of your favorite naps there.
Go share those to our Facebook group. Every week I post the show. It's at the top of the page. Comment on it. We love hearing what you think about the show. We love hearing your experiences. We really do like seeing those after the show releases because, one, it keeps us involved in each week's show. That way we don't forget what the episodes are.
What episode?
Exactly.
Wait, what? We're involved in each week's show?
Yep.
There's a show?
Well, look, I will say, as I do every week, from all of us here at Three Sheets of Mouse, thank you for making our show part of your Disney life. Thank you for your time this time, and until next time, so long for just a while.
And thank you!
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do.
Ba-da-dum bum ba-da-da.
Do 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 do.
Ba-da-dum-bum, ba-da-da. This is going to be our hold music now.
Yeah, it could be.